Jam is called off. Pair blocking in the back, keeping the red jammer back, looking at the arms, not seeing any forearms or multiplayers. Hearing the lead call off, lead awardment. So no lead for red team, and yeah, we get through, the jam gets called off. There's this initiative going on where some teams are trying out possible rule changes for tight re-entry here, by the way. Let's see one thing at a time. So, blocked off the track by white 1. And we are re-entering here, not touching out of bounds anymore, and we are, well, pretty close. Can't say that this would be a cut, so... Yeah, so there's an initiative for possible rule changes considering the lead jammer, which is kind of a win more mechanic, so to speak, which leads to more games with it being quite clear who the winner is quite early on. So possible rule changes being tested out to get more tight games, which would obviously benefit everybody. And they are quite interesting. I personally think it would be good to at least seriously consider some of those rule changes to get more tight games. We have the pack here at the front. And there, well, that was really close. If the jammer is past everybody, right here, they probably are. So I'm not calling lead. I'm not quite sure enough in real time whether the red jammer's hips have passed all the blockers' hips or not. And they are directly caught again, so decided not to call lead. Maybe should have, I don't know. But lead is still open. And now we're actually right at the back of the pack, and the lead gets awarded to white. Almost a star pass, not quite. Let's see. Well, apparently I thought that white 6-3 doing this forearm extension, that in my mind was significant enough. Not sure at all about that call. From this footage I would not make it. So maybe not the best call. And also right at the outside track boundary, probably should have left it to the OPRs to either call or not call. But I remember it looking like significant in real time. Also, remember that what I'm looking at real time is obviously slightly different from what we're looking at right now, because this is not my eyes we are looking from, it's the camera on top of my helmet. Huge pile up here. My jammer looks to be out of bounds. Interesting. So, looking at these shots, I believe the upper torso of my jammer touching out of bounds, which would be that my jammer is out of bounds, and Even though now they are not touching out of bounds anymore, they are still down. And by rule, the re-entry on the track actually happens when you're back upright. If you come back on the track when you're down, that is not re-entering the track. Re-entering the track is when you are upright again. So this skater here had superior position at the time my jammer went out. And at this point, when my jammer's knee gets up on the ground, this is the point that my jammer re-enters the track. So they did re-enter the track in front of this opposing blocker that technically would be a cut penalty also. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the white jammer. Obviously, I'm following the red jammer, so yeah. Here, what I'm seeing is the red jammer taking, well, there is light contact or blocking by this white blocker here. But what I'm seeing is the red jammer taking a trajectory that brings them directly to the back of white 8-0 without a significant, like this skater had established position here. They did not jump in front. They did not turn around to present the illegal target zone. So, yeah. So to me that looks like clearly a backblock penalty. I would uphold that looking at this footage. Joining my NSO friends here again. Staring at the box for the next 30 seconds. Enjoy. Small pile there on the outfield. My jammer getting recycled. Well, this is initiation in the clockwise direction, so could call a direction on this because my jammer kinda well, clearly they are impeded a bunch, but if my jammer would have actually like fallen down or gone out of bounds, I would have called it. And certainly you could argue that there was enough impediment there for a direction call. Let's see what's this point about. So we clearly get 3 points. Oh yeah. Yeah, so we are on a scoring pass. We came to the scoring trip, as they are called these days. We are re-entering the track from the penalty box on a scoring trip. So on a scoring trip, we came to the pack, got the backblock penalty, and pretty much not passing a lot of skaters. You are at this point obviously supposed to remember which of the white blockers have already been scored on. But yeah, the skater taking their helmet's cover off. And at least making this last, passing the last one. I believe I judged in real time that the helmet cover was off only after passing these three. You could, well, if we like the covers off now, none of these have been passed, so you might be wondering why am I focused on the cover. So a jammer is an active jammer only if they have the jammer helmet cover on and the star is visible to everybody, so it's clear that that's the person who can score points. So right now the cover is off. This is still a jammer, but they cannot score points. So here the jammer passed everybody, but not having the helmet cover on. I don't remember before the penalty call which they had passed, probably at least not 3. But here you can actually see me make the call. I show 3 points. In real time, I gave the points for the 3 blockers in the triangle in the back, but not for the foremost, not the 007. So that's why I'm showing 3 points. Possibly the jammer, well, it was kind of confusing, so in their mind they might have been still on the initial pass. Initial trip. Before the one lap for a jammer around the pack or through the pack was called a scoring pass or initial pass. But that gets confused because actually passing one skater is also called a pass. So that's why the wording has been changed. So it's a scoring trip or initial trip, which is 1 lap for the jammer around the track, or one lap through the pack. But yeah, hard to remove the years and years of calling things one thing. I'm trying to change that later. Star pass completes. Getting through. Not seeing anything illegal there, neither by the blocker or the jammer. There is a penalty call for the opposing jammer. We don't have lead. Never can have lead when you're doing a star pass. So we are going for the full 2 minutes. Getting hit out by the last blocker. White 4. So yeah, what's happening? Let's go through this slowly, even though, well, it might be clear to you, but might be not. So here I need to make the call, and who is actually blocking my jammer out of bounds. I make the call here that everybody else is passed from the opponents except white 4 here at the front. So that's the initiator. And here, kind of hard to see, but yeah, white 4 gets blocked out of bounds, so they lose their superior position. So at this point, my jammer cannot cut anyone. They had passed all the other opponents and their teammates, at least everyone except 1, and the initiator of the block got blocked out of bounds. So now they are stepping on the track in front of white 4, but I'm showing here the no earned pass hand signal that yes, they came in front, but no superior position at the time of re-entry for the initiator, so no cut call. Staying in, I'm checking with the OPRs, they are nodding along, so not stepping out of the track on the outfield, no cut call. Here again, I need to make a call who the initiator is. I actually believe it's this skater. This skater might think they are the initiator, and they also want the jammer to think that this is the skater they need to go behind, but I actually think it was this one. So the jammer is allowed to re-enter here, but they usually cannot know that for certain. So to take it safe, they go behind everybody. And the jam is called off, and we go to the next one. We're getting a lead. Here we're calling off the jam because the other jammer hot on the heels. We have not passed anyone. White 007 was the backmost. Oh, actually, yeah. So 0 points. And why are we looking at the box? There was a penalty enforced between jams. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was a forearm penalty seen from the outside. But, well, it's often very hard to enforce penalties from the outside to jammers that are going through. Possibly here, I really can't tell. There's a ton of skaters in front, so there might be some hugging, taking a whip of this white pivot. I really don't know. And here you can actually see that OPR is trying to signal me that, yep, there was a foul. But I did not notice it. There was also no whistle. And yeah, here you can see the OPR is trying to come to enforce the penalty, but the quick jam is called off, so there was no time to do it. So, but between jams we can go through stuff. And the jam is, in that sort of situation, the jam is usually upheld as it was played. All the points would stand, etc. If it's like a delayed, like post-fact penalty call. But yeah, we start the next jam from the box for the full 30 seconds. Lead awarded already to white team. And we are exiting the box and going to our initial trip, which we complete very quickly. Showing not lead here. Lead is long gone. Let's see, we are scoring points. Here again I'm showing that I think the white pivot is, there might be contact to the back, but it's due to white pivot coming in front on the trajectory of the red jammer. So not calling a back block there. Feel free to disagree. Call me out in the comments, but be nice. Being nice is free, and the internet has enough toxicity for, well, one universe already, so. There we go, we are getting lead with my jammer. Bit of traffic there, struggling to get through. On the infield, we are getting on our second scoring trip. Yeah, again showing that if there was any contact to the back, I don't believe it was my jammer who initiated it. But this might even be just to the side, so yeah. Calling off the jam, I believe that was 2 points. We are at least passing this skater, and I only see 2 other white blockers. I'm assuming there's a 4th one in the penalty box. So 1 point on the track and 1 from the penalty box for a total of 2 points. At least I'm not sure what I called in real time, but yeah, that was what I saw from this footage right there. Here I'm not quite sure if lead is awarded to white. White is getting through first. But here I'm hearing a 1 blow of the whistle. 2 quick whistles is the signal for lead. Jammer. 1 is the signal for a penalty, so I know that they are not getting lead if they're getting a penalty. So here at this point, I don't know yet if my jammer is going out, but they have clearly passed all the blockers on the track. and being still in bounds, so I'm awarding lead right here. And they did stay in bounds. OPR is nodding to confirm that yes, the jammer stayed in bounds. So the lead is awarded to the red jammer, scoring points, approaching second scoring trip through the pack. Being hit out by the white pivot. Jammer with hands. Whoa, that was actually a very close re-entry. So this is the reason we need to be right on the line. Jammer re-entering here. Here is when they're not touching out of bounds anymore. And trying to judge if these hips are in front of these or the other way around. So I wasn't quite sure enough to make a call right there. And here you might say that my call is a bit late. But yeah. So when are you supposed to make the call off? The lead jammer is signaling that they are calling off by touching their hips repeatedly. So what that means is that we want two touches to the hips before we call off. So right here, jammer is showing that, yeah, I'm about to call. First touch. And at this point, they can still like cancel this call off. And be like, whoops, I'm not going to call off. So you're not supposed to be calling quite yet. But at this point, now it's official. The jammer has called off the jam and I'm supposed to whistle it. So let's look at that in real time once more. So just a minor detail, but it actually can have significance a lot of the time. And yeah.